episode 2. We did it.
We did.
We successfully started something and continued to do it.
The path is working.
But how was your week? Did you have a good week so far?
It's not over, but I'm trending in a very nice direction. It's almost Thursday, and Thursday is my Friday this week. So nice. I am very looking forward to tomorrow. And
what's tomorrow?
Thursday is tomorrow. Work is very much gone smoothly this week.
Tomorrow.
So
tomorrow.
I'm very pleased with the events.
You. Tomorrow. It's only
a day away.
Away.
I'm more of a spoken word musician, not a singer.
I like to sing.
I like spoken word. It's underrated. William Shatner is really good at it.
Awesome. What are you doing this weekend?
Oh, busy weekend. Getting 2 yards of dirt delivered.
Fun.
Tomorrow. So I'll start on that Thursday and hopefully finish up that Friday. And then Saturday there's a show, comic book show in Oshkosh. I'm going to go help my friend Dave set up for a few hours and do a little shopping and be back by 11:30, 12.
So you're not vending?
No. And then Saturday, spend a day with Mom. And then probably go up to the festival in town on Saturday night. And then Sunday I have a show in Illinois.
Oh my gosh, that's such a jam-packed weekend. Mine's kind of unplanned.
And then Monday's off, so
yeah,
it's wonderful.
That's amazing. I'm driving to go see Hayes for the weekend, my boyfriend. And then after this weekend, I'm going to go visit my grandparents.
Oh, that's
Spend
nice.
the week with them. And that'll be good. Sometime in the lake. Hopefully the weather gets better. This Wisconsin weather has been anything but okay. Today felt like fall, which is why I whipped out the Packers sweatshirt. I was like, it's a crisp fall spring day.
It was lovely today.
It was. But I'd rather have it be 70 degrees, but you know.
I'm not a big Whatnot person, as you know, but I saw a little bit of your Whatnot sale last night, and I heard a voice called during the sale.
Oh, you did?
Hayes made an appearance during the sale.
Yeah, he did.
So that's cool.
He called me and I answered it on my iPad, and he was asking me, like, if he could drop off his package in the blue thing outside of the post office.
Yeah.
Like the envelope drop off, and I said, no, you can't drop your package
you
off.
You can, but it's kind of sketchy. So
I don't think you can.
I think it says, but some of the postal workers dislike that, and some of them don't mind.
If you're a postal worker, let us know.
Yeah, we'd like to know the skinny on that, because I've heard both opinions, but I always try to take my stuff into the post office where it's either going in the bin there or to a person.
Well, anyway, so it was funny because then the girls on my show were like, thrift like a boy, because he sold something on Depop because he's like been selling some stuff, more so things that I find for him that he doesn't want to keep, and I'm like, well, you just learn how to be a boy boss and start a Depop. I don't know if he has it in it like we do, but we'll see. But yeah, we definitely need to get that Whatnot show scheduled where we do comics and clothes. That'll be in the near future. Maybe let us know what days or
what day would you prefer for a sale?
Yeah, for a comic and clothes Whatnot show, it would obviously have to be, if it's during the week after 5 p.m. Central, weekends. We'll get something planned, and hopefully do a lot of them.
At least 4 a year. I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Like
quarterly.
Yeah.
So the Q2 show is coming up.
Wow. That's really metropolitan of you. Wow. Q2.
I think today we could focus our discussions around quality, whether it be the quality of comics over the years, quality of clothing, quality time with grandma, quality family time, quality friends. I don't know. I just think the word quality would be a really good theme.
So we're going to qualify quality, basically.
Yes.
Okay, that sounds good.
So one of the things that kind of prompted this in my head was I was thinking about the type of comics that you collect. I mean, granted, you collect all different types of comic books, but whenever I'm out sourcing for clothes and I come across comics and say, hey, I have some comic books, you're always like, are they from pre-1970? Is that what you always say? Or pre-1960?
I mean, 10 cents usually is what I say.
Yeah, so what era are you looking for in the comics? Like,
oh, funny. Look at my wall. It's
so helpful.
It's older comic books. I'm looking for and I guess probably 80% of the comic book people are looking for older comics from the late 30s and 40s.
Okay, that's old. Wow. So I want to ask you, what is the difference in quality from the 1930s, 40s, 50s, 60s comics to now? Because isn't it kind of surprising that a comic book from the 1930s or 40s can still
Well, they
be
use
well
they
preserved?
use different ink and a different cover, and they're pretty hardy for being old
Yeah.
for a periodical.
What type of ink did they use? Like what makes
I'm
it
sure it was
different?
leaded, something.
Oh, so it's
more-
toxic, but
Well, no, but I mean, just the colors on the older issues are really vibrant, actually,
Yeah.
especially the covers.
is that what makes them worth more? Is it just
condition-
single-handedly the fact
The
that they're
condition,
old?
but I mean, it's just cool art too. I don't know if we can see that.
It'll
yeah.
be, your camera will be there.
It's just
I would love to hear some differences. Like, what are we gonna see in a old comic book?
well, look at this panel.
Yeah, that's really cool.
In an older comic book, they made them for kids, but I would liken it to they were made for everyone.
Yeah,
I think an adult could look at it and get something out of it. Historical figures, different types of, different characters. This one's from September 41, so this is pre-World War II. It was fun. The art's amazing, and it holds up rather well. It's got a totally different aesthetic than the books that came 20 years after. When I was younger collector, I didn't really appreciate the older stuff. I'd say every 10 years, my collecting habits changed, and I started collecting different items, different types of comic books.
yeah,
Whereas I started with straight superhero, I'd say now I collect just about everything.
yeah. I think, and you always tell me it's good to you don't want to have your eggs all in one basket.
Correct.
It's kind of like
Diversify your
Yeah.
collection.
Yeah.
Diversify what you collect. Diversify even how what you do for your walks. I walk different places, walk different distance, walk different
Well, and you don't
speeds.
want to have someone start stalking you and kill you. That's more for women. You probably would never have to worry about that, but women are never supposed to walk the same route every single day because that's how we get stalkers. But I think what you're saying goes for almost anything in
Well,
life.
you've told me thrifting wise, when you go through a store,
Yeah.
you always have to go the different direction because you're going to see different things.
Yeah.
And that makes sense. And
You have to switch up. I mean, people ask me all the time, where do you go thrifting? And I think I mentioned this in our first episode, but I switch up where I source, where I go thrifting every single time. Yeah, do I have my ones that are like closer to my house, or, like closer to me that I can frequent more often? Yeah, I'm going to probably pick a few that are close in proximity. Doesn't mean that those are the most successful spots. But like I love driving around Wisconsin, driving to neighboring states, or even when I travel, going to different thrift stores. But with what you were saying about kind of getting different eras of comic books, is that what the word for eras?
yeah, there's ages. Comics are Golden Age, Silver Age, Bronze Age, Copper Age, Modern Age.
Yeah.
And you could say almost Postmodern Age after that.
That's why I've always done this, but I've been collecting both true vintage and the Y2K early 2000s era of clothing. I would say I primarily sell the early 2000s, late 90s because that's what's in style right now. But I also diversify my audience by also getting some true vintage in there, whether it be 1970s, 60s, 50s. I've come across some really cool hauls, especially at the bins of old clothes from the 60s and 70s. So then I make content around that because, I just had a true vintage show 2 nights ago and it went really well. I mean, some of the girls, there's a crossover. Like there's a few girls that like to come to the Y2K shows and then some girls that like to come to the true vintage ones. But I think, at least as a vintage collector and seller, that it's good to have different niches within that category. I mean, I don't like doing men's clothes. I don't think I ever will. I mean, but with women's, I can kind of hit some different decades and some different types of styles There's just so many different ways you can go. Maybe one year I'll focus more on bags, shoes, scarves. I've been really getting into accessories more. So I'm trying to learn a lot right now. So then as I continue down this path, I know what to find, what works best for me, or I can switch up. If I am like, you know what, I have been saving up this True Vintage stuff for a while, which I have, I can do a True Vintage show, just in case certain eras go quote unquote out of style. But as you said, you used to think like that, and now you try to pick up everything. So
Yeah, I find the rule for me is if I've never seen the comic before, I usually buy it because it's either worth something or worth nothing. So I usually can get it cheap.
yeah.
And it's nice to have something that I've never seen before that I thought I collected or saw, everything from certain eras.
Yeah.
And then now I'm doing cards, so that's been
Oh yeah, tell us about that.
yeah, I've got back into baseball cards, I'd say 3 years ago.
When did you ever leave?
In the 90s. I was doing card shows on Saturdays and comic shows on Sundays.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know
So,
that. So were you never home for your kids? What year? Oh, in the 90s, I wasn't born. You were never home for your firstborn child on the
No,
weekends?
it was the 90s, the early 90s.
Oh, just kidding.
So no kids.
So you never hung out with mom ever on the
Only-
weekend?
all the time we hung out. But Saturdays during the day and Sundays during the day, I didn't golf, I didn't hunt, I didn't fish. I didn't
just-
play softball all the
You're me.
much.
Like when you were
So,
25. Well, you were married.
I think
but,
you're me now.
Yeah,
but,
I'm me. I'm you.
but-
I'm you now. Yeah.
literally had card shows on Saturdays and comic shows on Sundays.
Nice.
But I liked comics better.
Yeah, and at that, I mean, that'd be like me being like men's and women's clothing.
So I just
yeah.
made the decision to sell pretty much all my cards and convert it to comic books.
Do you regret selling those cards?
I look back and regret not buying certain cards that I had the opportunity for, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
But I just did buy a Wayne Gretzky rookie card after not buying one probably in 1993. So I just bought one on eBay a couple weeks ago.
What's the price on that?
I spent $750.
Okay.
But it's a lower grade, but it's a card I always wanted in my collection.
I love that I have you to compare my purchases to, because if I ever want to splurge on a pair of designer shoes, I'm like, well, Dad bought a $750 card. I think, and if that there doesn't justify designer clothing for
but
you.
I'm doing well with local shows,
Yeah.
and I sell on eBay, and eBay's been very, very good for me since November when I started selling cards.
Yeah.
So I found a nice niche market selling not high grade cards, but graded cards and lower grade cards, and I seem to do pretty well with that.
Well, but what I'm trying to compare it to is that because of the money that we make from doing these things, we basically want to just reinvest it back in.
And
Sometimes that means buying, like for me, for example, I primarily focus on vintage, but sometimes I want to buy something new. Even something more modern. So I feel better buying a $700 vintage designer bag off the RealReal because I can always sell it again if I don't want it.
I think the best thing I've ever gotten out of collecting and selling and buying is catch and release. Mm-hmm. I don't fish, but I kind of do because I buy a lot of things with the notion I'm going to keep this in my collection for a time. Maybe I'll keep it in forever. And then there would be an opportunity where maybe I get a higher grade copy or a lower grade copy that looks nice, and I'll sell out of it or sell up to it. It gives you a lot of flexibility if you have several copies or several items of the same, because then I can sell a few of them. I can trade. That's something I've been doing more of, trading. Mm-hmm. It's nice to have a network of friends that are in the industry and are all over the country. So that's been fun, gaining friends all over with different backgrounds and different perspectives than me.
Yeah. And I will say, you got to be organized about it. When you're not, I mean, me and you are organized, unorganized people.
I'd say I'm more unorganized than organized.
But if I was like, where is this one book, you would know exactly where it is, correct? Like in the proxy, you'd be like, it's in this box.
I'd be within 14 feet of it.
That's okay. Well, maybe I'm just a
Well,
little
in
bit
this
better.
room, I can tell you, there's
Insert picture of
yes. I'd say the thing I'm going to really focus on now is selling quantity for quality, converting quantity to
That's-
quality is something I've got to work on the next 10 years. So I
Yeah.
need to get my collection and even my show inventory down to a smaller level. The nice thing about
10 years is a really long time. Why don't you hone that in a little bit?
No,
I could do that in the next 5 years.
I'm 59 now, so when I'm 69, I want to be in a position when I'm turning 70 that I've got a way smaller
and
things
just
to deal with.
more like
Things I can enjoy, things I can sell easily. Cards are great because they're small and they don't take up as much room as comic books. I think that's part of the reason I like cards now.
yeah.
They're easier to deal with.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
And,
Well, it's good that you're kind of
and
doing both.
With family, my brother-in-law Jim and I went to a card show in St. Paul.
Really?
Yes.
When was that?
When we were up visiting Grandma and Grandpa, and Mom and I were up for the weekend.
Like a long time ago?
About a month ago.
Oh.
Yeah, so
How was that?
That was I'd known the market kind of revived, but I haven't been to a bigger card show in a while, and that was eye opener
Really?
because I'd say 25 to 30% of the crowd was kids, and these kids knew the hobby way better than I did, and had their briefcases and their graded cards, and
Oh
they
my
were doing
God.
deals, and they had their dads with them, kind of being their GM, running the cash and working.
Like kids, like young kids?
Like young kids, but they knew that they were as knowledgeable
That's
about the
really
stuff
cool.
as you are in fashion and I am in comics. But it was great to see an environment where everybody was, the dealers were really friendly, knowledgeable. I got to buy some hockey cards I like, and it was just hanging out with Jim and kind of revitalizing our passion for sports cards and non-sports cards. It was fun.
I think people are starting to latch on to physical media again.
I would agree.
And what's the word? Gathering. Like
Yes.
quality time with people that have your same interests.
Shared interests.
Because I think everyone's, as much as social media is going to be an outlet that people can use, I think people are getting sick of that barrier of being like, well, this isn't a true human connection. It's parasocial. So when you get everyone in a room, you're able to grow and like just learn and enjoy more.
I think the goal for our podcast should be a road show party someday with friends and family.
Obviously, we're going on a United States tour to
No,
all the...
I'm just
Wait,
saying.
what was the thing you said in the last episode? All the little big towns?
The little big towns. Yes.
All the little big towns. It could be cool for us. We've always talked about doing some sort of like comic and clothes type of
Well,
thing.
I think maybe the best thing we could do is a comic and clothes.
Maybe like an annual...
Just like a discussion with people
Ooh,
and
a panel, if you will.
and an open bar.
Yeah. That could... A party! Wait, so we find a venue, and then we can have vendors,
Yeah.
and then we can...
Kind of a conglomeration of cons and thrifting and our podcast and
A celebration of
all things cool.
a celebration of all things cool. That would be... I'm getting excited. We need this podcast to take off. So if you're listening to this, pause. Don't actually pause, but scroll down, click subscribe. Probably like comment.
Do I have to do the down here?
Share it with your dad. Or if your dad, share it with your daughter. Vice versa. They go hand in hand. And obviously, we're going to try each episode to keep it, pretty even about what we talk about. We might even not talk about, like, comics and clothes in an episode. There's things...
Could be Marty for a whole episode.
So
Pomeranians.
Marty is our Pomeranian. I'm going to have to save that story for how we got him for a different episode because it's a whole, like...
It's its own universe.
That'll be the episode that we bring
Martyverse.
Marty in.
The Martyverse.
Yeah, it is the Martyverse. And he looks really cute with his new haircut. Back on track. So in-person events doing well. I just think that there are more and more vintage markets popping up too. More and more of a demand for them because I think people are finally starting to, and I'm saying people in the sense of the general public is starting to catch on to the fact that clothing is not made very well anymore. And
Or you can say it was made very well in a certain
in different
a certain
eras.
era. So I mean, because it's not fair to say it's not made very well. It's just that a certain area really encapsulated clothing really well.
Well, but the thing is most of the clothes people are wearing aren't made of real materials anymore. And
Right.
I don't think people realize that because before I got into vintage fashion and just learning about fabric, different fabric types, and all the fun things that go along with that, I didn't realize that most of my closet was polyester. Like, there was not one. I can confidently say I didn't have anything silk in my wardrobe for like 10 years.
But if you were to go back to the 70s and get a polyester suit, that's rocking cool.
Well, and I'm not saying it's not that polyester isn't cool. It's just it's not luxurious. And
Yes.
and to me, luxury means quality versus what the label. I mean, so when I'm thrifting, I'm always keeping my eye out for silk because I made a TikTok video about this the other day. Where is the silk gone? Nothing is made out of silk. If it is, it's so expensive. And when I thrift pieces that still have a price tag on it, let's say it was a silk tank top from 2005 and it's kind of like a going out style top. So a nicer structured top priced at $80. That's relative. It's silk. It's a high material. Nowadays, it's like $200+. What I want to know is why brands don't do silk anymore. I understand the cost. I understand it's probably more expensive, but I think we're getting to a point where people are going to want to pay more for a quality material like that. So why don't they even try? And like Victoria's Secret, for example, and that I still love them, but I would love for them to bring back their silk slips, robes. They don't have any of that anymore.
I tend to see it in comics and cards. There's a high market and high buyers, and there's a low market. And the sweet spot should be in the middle, but it isn't always.
Yeah. Like for clothes, they like it almost seems like most clothes, even the ones that are technically deemed higher end clothes, like a brand that is expensive, but they're expensive for no reason because their stuff is made out of polyester. None of it's silk, but they'll have a dress called satin or silk-like dress and price it for $300. You should be pricing it like that if it's actual silk, but it's not. So there's a lot of deception right now in fashion, and I'm getting sick of it. I just want them to bring silk back. I want to be able to thrift silk in 20 years. What I don't understand is why brands don't create high quality products, because wouldn't they want people to still be wearing them 20 years from now? That's the best marketing you could have, is create a piece of clothing that will last 20 to 30 years. If you want longevity in your brand, don't you want people to rave about how they bought this jacket 10 years ago and it's still in amazing condition, hasn't chipped, hasn't snagged?
I find it interesting because comics, there's some of that same type of thing where some of the quality, like Marvel lately, very down quality-wise.
What makes it bad quality? Or what makes the quality
to me,
not as good?
I've always been a story guy. So the story to me drives it. The art's great. The art sells the books. The art is up front. The cover artist, the interior artist, they're really the rock stars. But dig deep, and a good story will help the artist convey the story even better.
Yeah.
So for one of the first times in my life, DC Comics is doing well with Absolute Batman.
I've been seeing stuff. I was just doing some quick searching today because I was kind of looking for some help with topics maybe to cover, and it was saying something about how DC was starting to like soar or something.
It's been odd because I'm a DC fan. That's what got me into comics.
And DC is like
Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
So those are the main three, where Marvel is Spider-Man, Captain America, the Avengers.
And I think a lot of people tend to lean more towards Marvel.
Correct.
Would you say?
Oh, yes.
But you've been more of a...
I've always been a little bit more of a DC
So
guy.
you are a DC guy.
But I've grown to like a lot of the Marvel stuff, too. But now, right now, DC's bringing a lot more quality to the table with their storytelling. And they seem to have a plan. and they've been following through very well. And the younger readers are really liking it. So they know they're selling to a younger readership, which I like. For years, I feel comics got caught up in selling to just 30, 40, 50-year-old guys and not looking, hey, we need a replacement buyer group. And I'd still say they do a bad job with kids because if I was the major publishers, I would be tying in with Scholastic, getting free or really cheap graphic novels into the schools as readily as possible, age appropriate, but because kids love that stuff. And it's a no-brainer. If you sell inexpensive kind of loss leaders, free stuff to younger kids, you might hook somebody to be a comic fan or even a reader for life.
Right, because you got to fuel. It's. I'm sure a lot of people do find their hobbies later on in things that they're interested in, but when you're little, that's kind of when you decide what you love and whether you take a break from it. Like I always knew as a kid that I loved fashion. I would design fashion things in my sketchbooks. I would, oh my God, did you see the things I'd wear to school in elementary school? I definitely always explored with style. You don't think when you like go to college, like, oh, I'm going to get back into this, but somehow you always do. So I totally agree. I think that, they need to make comics and say, who is the target audience? Like there's different types of comics. Like I know that there are more adult oriented ones, but for the generic superhero ones, DC, Marvel, I totally get what you're saying. Those need to just adhere to.
They need to do
everyone.
A better job of getting a pipeline to young.
The movies. The movies always do a good job. I would say of like adhering
they have
to both.
They have cartoons that tie into the movies. They have TV shows that tie in. I've never understood why the comics didn't. It's advertising. They could print 100,000 copies of something and release it in the schools for free. What's that different than advertising? It's the same. It's building a brand.
Yeah.
I think a lot of companies have lost their way. I'd say Harley Davidson's lost their way. I've seen Kohl's to a certain extent has lost their way. Get back to what made you a brand that people talked about and supported.
I have a good
team that they wanted to be on your team.
Yeah.
So, and I think both of those companies could do something to do it.
I have a comment on Harley Davidson because as someone who is big into thrifting and popular early 2000s, late 90s styles, the clothing that Harley Davidson sold in the early 2000s and late 90s, the quality was top tier. I'm talking the most amazing cotton, thick, durable cotton. Every shirt that I have thrifted from them always is in amazing condition despite being 30 years old. And you want to know what they did? And I think they still do this, but I don't think that they take advantage of it to an extent that they should. They would work with artists on the different shirts because you know how there's like different Harleys for a lot of different cities. Pretty sure that, I mean, when I worked at the news station and we did a commercial for Harley Davidson, they were telling us like every certain amount of either a couple times a year or once a year, I can't remember, they work with an artist to develop art for a shirt. But we lost the plot when we stopped caring about quality and we just, I don't know, it's just things started getting made so cheaply. So I don't think that, buying merch was at the top of people's minds because when the quality goes down and the price goes up, people aren't happy about that. But get this, everyone that would buy their merchandise, that's a walking advertisement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I personally, that museum's down there. The brand is still there. It's a sleeping giant as far as I'm concerned. Harley Davidson.
But why? Because you're not a motorcyclist, so
no.
Why do you...
But here's the thing: they could take advantage of selling to the non-motorcycle. You just talk about fashion.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't they come up with a fashion line? Why wouldn't they come up with?
They still do, and I will say they still do sell clothes, but I don't ever see it being advertised. I mean, I've gone to their website a couple times and been like, oh, there's some cute stuff.
Why don't they partner with Kohl's and create a little den in Kohl's as the Harley room or something and have clothes, merch, graphic novels with historical Harley Davidson stuff, Japanese stories of people who took their Harley over to Japan.
Yeah.
Just it can be anything entertaining.
I agree. So what you're saying is essentially do a collaboration with another. So whether it be, I mean,
Kohl's is natural. That'd be a natural collaboration.
Yeah.
They have the space. They have a name recognition.
Because like Harley Davidson is technically their own clothing line as well. But yeah, no, I get what you're saying. And I agree. You think about how that used to be such a, they still do create clothing merchandise, but as you said about comic books, I don't think it's appealing to the younger generations. I think it's appealing to the ages that have been Harley goers for the past 30 years. But it's like, you need to get the young, like one of my goals in life is to get a hot pink Harley. Have I ever rode a motorcycle?
No.
No, but that's a goal of mine. So like, what are you going to do to advertise to me, a 25-year-old, to get a Harley bike? Like, what are you going to, you got to start selling some hot pink t-shirts.
I think they need to have an affordable entry-level bike to sell to young people.
Yeah.
Either a e-bike, a small motorcycle, something that gets good gas mileage, that makes a lot of sense for people to use as a second vehicle. For in the Midwest, a second vehicle. In certain parts of the country, could be a main vehicle. And just get back to the basics. Don't make it full of frills, but make it a functional thing that people can use and benefit from. I just feel like they're missing opportunities with a brand that.
And we love her. I don't think we're not shysting on
shills.
them.
We're not shills.
We love Harley Davidson. These are just recommendations. If you are Harley Davidson listening to this, because I do want to work with you one day. But so I'm not going to sit here.
I think they're a sleeping giant as far as what they could do with other things outside of motorcycles, and there's hundreds of other things they could partner with.
I don't really have anything ill to say about them other than I'm just recommending that they start like really focusing on maybe working with more artists and doing some more unique designs and bring back those OG cotton tank tops that are just so badass and that everyone looks hot in and that all the girls will wear. I promise you, you guys will not regret that. I think I've noticed that they do have some of those like is repro the right word? Repo. They have had some cute ones. And I'm pretty sure they like sell out right away, but I think they in a world of the social media age where you could be working with influencers and different marketing agencies to be able to push your product, I think that you guys need to hone in on the merchandise aspect again with good quality pieces.
Well, new types of merchandise and new types of markets, and you got the Harley Davidson Museum. Tie in trips to that with like something else.
You have a whole generation of Gen Z girlies who are at the thrift store every weekend trying to find early 2000s, late 90s Harley Davidson pieces because they're that good. So hey, stick to the blueprint. I think that some people try to do different, but it's like go back to what works. I thought of this question earlier today. I think this will be a good pivot. What is your idea of quality family time?
I think it's quality family time is anywhere where everyone's around. We've got nothing. If we have something planned, we have time before we're doing it, or it's a planned day where we're going to hang out.
Yeah.
And there's no schedule.
Yeah.
There's no game to go to. There's nothing to do. We might wake up, have breakfast, and then maybe we're going to go for a walk, or we'll play a board game or play poker or something like that.
Kind of like our family Christmas is like that because we don't have anything planned on Christmas. This isn't going to be forever. This is as right now with the kids not,
Yeah, we do our Christmas Mass on Christmas Eve, so then we always have Christmas Day.
That won't be forever. We're going to have kids eventually.
Sometimes we don't get out of the pajamas until like 6 p.m. or 7 p.m.
My answer to that was going to be kind of similar. Because I agree. I think quality family time happens when, and quality family time meaning that everyone wants to be there, engaging in quality family time. Because let's be so for real, there are times where if you have something planned, it's like, oh, I have something to be doing, like blah blah blah. I love my family, but you're distracted. But I definitely think when there's nothing planned after on a night where no one's doing anything.
I think also an event like we went to a graduation party dinner. Yeah. That was wonderful family time.
Yeah.
Because you got to kibitz with everybody and have a nice time. And
we had a reservation. There was no like, oh my God, are we going to get in at this?
And it was a restaurant I hadn't been to. You'd been there.
It's called Room Service in
And
Milwaukee.
it was
was
wonderful.
so good. I've been there
High
once
recommendations. The staff was great and the food was wonderful.
Yeah, it was really good. I already want to go back.
And the whole area is redeveloped from when I
Bayview.
used to. Yeah, I used to go down there to a comic store, the old Collector's Edge, which is still there. And the neighborhood has changed since 35 years ago when I used to go down there.
Yeah.
But it's a nice neighborhood. Yeah.
I like my favorite family quality time, and it's dad, my mom, and then I have two brothers, is when we eat dinner and we're all actually engaged in the same conversation and we all sit at the table.
We talk
and
over each other.
Talk over each other because we're the louds. But that's my idea of quality family time because you're all sitting there looking at each other.
I'll go to the couch and Marty will take my spot.
Yeah, and you do that. But I think that that's a time where we all are kind of, you're there. You're not anywhere else. No one's on their phones. When we move to the living room, that's where people get, you start to look at your phone, you start to whatever. But I think, especially when there's a dessert, like when there's a dessert after dinner, it's like, I am locked into this conversation. Especially if you give me a glass of wine, like I'm especially locked into whatever we're talking or arguing about. And it's great. It's great family time.
And I think the fun thing with thrifting and comics and cards is you have extended family time with your friends they share your passion, or they're people you do business with, or people you buy from, or people you sell to. I've made so many friends that I wouldn't have otherwise met had I not been doing this.
Yeah.
So that's the real upside to collecting and selling and buying is all the people I've met and all the different people I've met.
Quality friends.
Quality
hobby, quality friends, quality life. And the quality friends that aren't in the niche are also great because they support you. They think it's cool. Well, I know what I do is cool, but I love seeing how cool my friends think it is that aren't always in that space. And it's kind of like the imposter syndrome that I have where I'm so used to doing this all the time, but then, they'll come to a show or help me out or come help me or stop by at a market and they'll be like, this is just the coolest thing ever. And I'm like, really? Is it that cool? And then I'm like, you know what?
Well,
it is cool.
That's part of the reason I do shows is I don't golf, but it's basically sitting or walking around the show talking to guys that share the same interests. So it's no different than what you would be talking at a golf course, kind of same type of thing, or out for a walk or going to a ball game or something like that. It's the same kind of vibe, kind of.
It gives purpose leading to a quality life.
And quality interactions with people you might never meet again.
And quality Pomeranians.
Yes.
That like to pee on the floor.
Yeah.
And have to wear a diaper. And a quality production man.
A high quality.
Who
will get top billing.
His pay actually depends on how much you guys engage with this podcast. I don't know. I think it takes years to monetize from a podcast. We're not doing this for the money. Don't worry, guys. Also, did you notice? So I made the first post and on our Instagram account. And did you notice?
I'm very adept at Instagram. I didn't even accept your invitation yet.
I didn't invite you to do it yet, but did you notice that the song I used is You're Gonna Hear From Me by Frank Sinatra in the background?
And there's no problem with copyright, or is the amount of time you can play the song?
You don't understand Instagram yet. This is just like when you post something on Instagram, you can add a song to it.
Okay.
And you know what? The legalities of that, I don't know. That's Instagram, not me. But like it's like a thing.
I'm thinking like a dad, though. You gotta,
No, but like it's like it says pick a song to put on your post, or else it'll not reach anybody. Whatever. So I did the song You're Gonna Hear From Me by Frank Sinatra, and let me tell you what the description of that song is. This was on purpose. You
gotta do a deep dive in Sinatra. Very interesting character.
There's
a good documentary.
We could do an entire episode talking about.
There's a good documentary on him that I would recommend.
Let me read and I've realized I love doing Easter eggs. Like, it's so cool. Like, that's the creative in me. When I'm like, I want to pick a song that represents, like, what this is going to be. You're Gonna Hear From Me is a song about unstoppable ambition, self-confidence, and defying doubters.
Jeez.
The lyrics tell the story of a determined newcomer who is currently unknown but refuses to be ignored or pushed aside by the established crowd. Overcoming rejection, absolute certainty, demanding attention. So with that being said, like that's kind of what we're doing with this podcast.
Well, that's kind of, as I call you, a force of nature that you are.
Yeah.
You're more of a storm front than a personality sometimes.
Oh yeah, who said that? Someone said I was like a hurricane. Like
Oh,
one of our,
well,
yeah.
see,
one of
great.
our uncles like you come in like a hurricane. But and you know what? I would say that today was a very quality podcast. I think we're getting there.
High quality. I didn't yawn at all, which is
that's good.
Encouraging because I was yawning twice before.
I think I now see the difference between last week and this is I think that it was one, the world's difference. Two, this actually felt like last week was a conversation too, but this was very easy. And we probably could go on.
Well, it was good that you picked a topic.
Yeah.
That was pretty open. And I didn't even kind of, I guess after you told me, I put these books in here kind of half thinking about,
yeah,
older books.
But I think, I mean, the overall quality over quantity, that's a takeaway.
Yes. And that's the way I've got to do my collecting in the next 10 years.
Yeah. So with that, we want you guys to comment questions for us, open-ended completely. Maybe next episode will be kind of get to know us more and answer questions and hopefully let some of the questions even lead how we go through the episode. But follow us on Instagram. It is called, what's it called again? It's like, it's not so, like,
Volume Issues.
It's kind of what the podcast is, but it doesn't roll off my tongue yet because I'm not used to saying it. So follow us on Instagram, Volume Issues Podcast, and we will be on Spotify, YouTube. We also have a vlog. It'll probably be out by the time this one, because this is episode number 2. Confession, episode 1 hasn't even come out yet by the time we're filming this right now. Because
we're trying to do some batch cooking.
Yeah.
And
batch cooking.
Yeah.
So we don't even know what the reaction is of the first episode yet. So, if it blew up and went viral and we're not
and
being
it's dropping on my
appreciative-
brother's birthday too.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That's the best birthday present he could ever ask for.
Maybe.
Well, and
All
with
right.
that,
Everybody have a good week.
yeah.
Have a good week.
Bye.
Bye.